you can relax. Colleen and Erik have a podcast. The world is scary and we're locked in our home, but now we have big microphones, so you can relax. That's the name of our podcast.
Hello, welcome to Relax, the podcast.
Hi.
I'm Colleen Ballinger.
And I am Erik Stockland. Mm-hmm. And we now file taxes together. How about that?
Today's episode, I told you guys at the beginning of the month, we had scheduled out the month of podcasts, and we did. And we had so many fun episodes. Last week was my favorite one yet, the musical episode.
So great.
And this week was supposed to be Meet the In-Laws, which we're still going to do. Just not today.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of planning and
I couldn't work that
getting
out.
Microphones to parents and planning everything out. And both sets of our parents are not social media people like me. And it was hard enough to get Erik to be on this podcast. So to try to organize all the parental units to do this as well is going to take more planning and time. And that is something we did not have this week. So we're doing something else, which I think is going to be pretty great, because you guys are always asking us all about our firsts. When was your first kiss? When was your first date?
They did?
When was your first... No. I don't know. I couldn't think of any other words.
That sounds like in someone's headphones.
I know. Okay. Ew, sorry. Yeah. I have a lot of spit in my mouth. That was probably not fun to listen to. Now I feel like I have to... Anyway, this episode is all about firsts. It's all about our firsts. So it's going to be a really fun episode. But first, Lovey, who do you think needs to relax this week?
Who do I think needs to relax this week?
Have you not thought of this yet?
There was a woman. I was driving the other day, and there was a woman. I was driving. I was making a left turn onto Ventura Boulevard, world famous Ventura Boulevard, 6 lanes, and there's a woman in the crosswalk crossing the street. So we in both directions had to wait to make our respective left-hand turns until she had cleared the crosswalk for her safety, or not, because she was walking at such a casual pace while on her phone. Mm-hmm. And I think there is some courage there that I don't understand, that I will walk out in a it's timed. Mm-hmm. There is a timer that's saying you have 20 seconds to get across these 6 lanes of LA drivers. But I don't need to look up. I don't need to be in any way cautious. I'm just going to... Now I need to just swallow. I'm just going to cross the street while being buried in whatever email or text or TikTok that, you know what I mean, and walking slowly. And I can even I was making eye contact with the person across the way that was
Mm-hmm.
trying to make a different left-hand turn, but also had to wait for her. Or I guess they'd be turning right in that situation. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
You're
not
just
a
saying,
scientist.
so basically your relax is the same thing it was last week.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Being on your phone.
Do I need a different
when you
one?
shouldn't be. No, you can do that one.
How about you relax with eating solo crab dinners right before
I know, God, I feel like I reek of garlic
you
right
reek
now.
of just wet crab.
I'm on a crab kick right now because my sister-in-law Jessica is obsessed with crab, and whenever I eat crab, I think of her. I just love her. But recently she was eating crab at some family function. Uh-huh. And I've been wanting it ever since. So Erik went and got me crab this week. And tonight I was like, ugh, I'm so sick of ordering food online. But I don't want to make dinner. We have to record the podcast tonight. What am I going to order? And I was like, God, I wish I could have crab. That sounds so good again. But I didn't want you to have to make crab again. So I was like, I wonder if you can order crab. So I ordered a sack of crab.
No, just a wet paper bag.
It was so
to
gross.
the doorstep.
But honestly,
crab.
really delicious.
Was it good?
It was actually really good. But I just feel like I reek of garlic right now because it came with this yummy garlicky sauce.
As good as it tastes to one person, it certainly doesn't. It doesn't.
You don't like it?
No, I didn't have any.
Oh.
You did this to yourself and alone.
I asked you if you wanted it, and you said, ew, no.
I go, oh, wow. No, thanks. I'm good. was my response to you.
Yeah. So,
good for you. Live your life.
It was delicious.
Enjoy
so you
your
should
meal. just
whatever.
setting the scene.
I do
of what
agree that
I'm,
needs to relax. I
Just
agree
like
with that.
if you could smell a podcast right now,
I reek of wet crab
this
sack.
podcast smells
wet
like
crab sack.
wet crab sack.
Okay.
So,
So I agree with that.
That's a t-shirt.
I agree with that. I also feel that this week, who needs to relax? This one might be controversial. I'm sorry, Lovey, but I think Demi Lovato needs to relax. This is all in the news. I mean, by the time this podcast comes out, it'll be last week that this happened.
We're a drama podcast now.
No, we're not a drama podcast, but it is something that, like, I love Demi Lovato. Like,
me
I
too.
think she's awesome. I think she's super talented. I love that she's a voice for so many things that we need voices for. I love that she brings awareness to so many issues. And I genuinely love her. I
don't know. I can't add too much to this conversation. I don't know too much about Demi Lovato.
Well, basically this week, well, I guess last week, if you're listening to this in real time, she went to a froyo shop and was very upset because they had sugar-free options. They had kind of options for everyone because it's LA and that's very common
Is this
out here.
why you keep bringing up wanting to go to Froyo?
No, but
because-
now I'm wondering if there's like some psychological like compare. Like I think
Yeah.
I just want froyo. Like
Okay.
I think I'm very excited, you guys, to take Flynn to a froyo shop. He's never been into like an ice cream shop or a froyo shop, and I really want to take him to one so that he
He's
can.
been in an ice cream shop, but before he would appreciate it when he was younger. Yeah.
he was much younger. In New York. When we were in New York, we went to one. But anyway, I really want him to go to one now because I feel like he would just lose his mind over all the like different flavors.
You got
and
options.
All the,
Yeah.
So anyway, Demi Lovato, I guess, went to an ice cream shop, a froyo shop, and they had like sugar-free options and dairy-free options because here in Los Angeles, I feel like a lot of our restaurants are very sensitive to all the different types of food allergies and preferences and vegan and gluten-free and dairy-free and all that stuff. So this froyo shop had that, and Demi Lovato has suffered with a horrible eating disorder, and she felt very triggered in that shop and like kind of threw a fit. But then it made other people very upset because they're like, wait, that sugar-free option is for me because I need sugar-free stuff, and I have this issue that I struggle with. So people felt that it was very like entitled of her to assume that she was the only one with like an issue that people should be catering to. Anyway, I think she issued an apology since then. But
You did not accept that apology?
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, I think she needs to relax because everyone's pretty upset. And so she needs to relax for a minute and just maybe get offline and just relax for a minute.
Yeah.
And maybe don't go into any froyo shops anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't know about Demi Lovato, but I know about the frozen yogurt industry
You do?
and its patrons. They take it very seriously, especially in Los Angeles.
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah, I had never seen, or really, I don't think ever heard of a frozen yogurt self-serve shop until I moved to Los Angeles and realized there was one in every single strip mall.
Pinkberry.
Yeah, Pinkberry. It wasn't a
Oh, it's
thing until I moved to
huge.
LA. It was everywhere. And it was Pinkberry. Oh, did you hear about Pinkberry?
And
Have you tried
Pinkberry-
Pinkberry yet? And I was like, what are
I
you
haven't been in a very
saying?
long time, but I feel like when I first went to Pinkberry, it was only the one flavor. It was like Greek yogurt flavor or something. And then
I don't know, but it was like a whole new. I was like, what is it? I moved here and I was like, what is Los Angeles? You go into a place, they give you a little like thimble, like a paper thimble cup, and you're supposed to go up to these things, and everyone's there like pulling the tester, and it like fills up their little paper cup, and then like slurping it out of these cups and throwing them in the thing, and it's just such a deal. It's like
Maybe
it's
froyo
so.
shops
I
need to
wonder,
relax.
is it like this everywhere now? Has it?
I would
spread?
assume so. But yeah, that was a very LA thing. Pinkberry started, I remember when Pinkberry came out and how big of a deal it was. And then they started making like, well, everyone was like, wait, we all hate this flavor. Like this like weird Greek yogurt ice, which I actually love it. It's my favorite. But
I didn't know
most
that they
people are
started
like,
with just
it's
one
so
flavor.
Tangy. It's just such tang. I'm pretty confident Pinkberry started
There
off with
used to
just
be
one flavor.
lines out the doors of those.
Oh yeah, a
Pinkberries.
Pinkberry. And there weren't even that many toppings. But I loved it so much that I still now, when I go to frozen yogurt places, I get the Greek yogurt kind with strawberries and chocolate chips. That's my jam.
When presented with all those frozen yogurt options, I need to there will be sections. There will be like the cereal topping section, and then will be like chocolate sweet, like peanut butter cup section.
And then the fruit.
And the same with the frozen yogurt. I'll like have to have like 3 different
Oh, you
flavors.
have them all.
Yeah.
Have we never been to frozen yogurt together?
No, we have apparently.
Wait, when? I don't remember
this. It's obviously been a while now.
Have we?
Yeah.
I don't remember this. I don't remember anything anymore.
Yeah, of course we have.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, the one down here in the thing.
Oh, okay.
By the Michaels.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. But yeah, anyway, I just want to clarify. Like I said, I really love Demi Lovato's work. I think she's a great artist. The reason I was saying she needs to relax is because that's what the internet is saying, and everyone's saying like she needs to relax. They're not saying that. They're like she needs to be not so concerned with only herself and maybe think that there are others in the world too. And I was like, all right, I can use her as the relax this week. So I'm just saying.
I think you just got froyo on the brain and you just like wanted to talk more about it.
I really do want frozen yogurt. Can we get frozen yogurt tomorrow?
Yeah, fine. Triple masks.
Can we take Flynn?
Yeah,
Flynn go in?
Yeah, we'll find an outdoor frozen yogurt patio.
Oh man, you guys, it's been hard. I was talking to Erik today. It was about froyo actually when I brought it up. And I was talking about how I really want to bring Flynn into like a froyo shop or like an ice cream shop or something. And I'm kind of excited that he hasn't been into anything in over a year. He hasn't been to any stores or anything because of everything the world's going through. But we are getting to the tail end of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, soon we're going to be able to take him in a place and see his excitement. Because Flynn gets so excited about everything. Like this kid gets so excited about everything in life. And so I'm like, he screams.
If he sees dumpsters,
he screams.
Dada, dumpster, Dada, other dumpster.
Well, and he will say your name until you match his excitement.
Yeah.
Like he'll be like, Dada, a dumpster, Dada. And until you're like, whoa, I see that dumpster, he won't stop.
He's like the hype man to our lives. He is our Flavor Flav.
So do you know I know Flavor Flav? Flavor Flav bought me lobster.
I was setting you up to tell your Flavor Flav crab story, apparently.
That was my start of my crab love, was Flavor Flav. Actually, it was lobster, but he did. He got me lobster. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
You can't just say Flavor Flav bought me lobster and then not tell the story.
He did. He bought me lobster. I was doing a web series in Utah. Sorry, we have lots of things we're talking about today, but my mind is all over the place these days. So yeah, I was in Utah doing a web series called Dr. Fubalis, and he was in it.
I believe that.
And he was honestly so nice. Like my first experience with Flavor Flav was we were shooting a scene outside and it was Utah. It was very cold. And I was in like gym shorts and like just a little thin sweater. And I was like shivering in between takes. And so then we took like a little break and he came back 15 minutes later and was like, Colleen, you don't have to be cold anymore because I got you this. And it was this big puffy jacket. And he didn't even know me. And I thought it was so nice.
Oh, that's
and
so awesome to hear.
I still have the jacket. Mm-hmm. It's so ugly. But I just love it so much. I think it's so nice. And then he loves, here's a fun fact about Flavor Flav. He loves bowling. And he's not good at it. And I don't mean that in a mean way. Like, he's good. And maybe he's better now. But, like, he always wanted to go bowling.
I love bowling, and I'm not good at bowling.
Same.
Yeah.
And he always wanted to go to Red Lobster. There's a lot of people who are really good at bowling. But he always wanted to go to Red Lobster, and he always wanted to go bowling. And so that's the things we would do. And he was so nice. He would give tips on how to bowl.
Were you in Utah filming this web series for months?
It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay. How many times did you go bowling into Red Lobster in 2 weeks?
A few times. But I just remember we went to Red Lobster and we all went and like sat down at the table. He's like, Colleen, come with me. And so he like picked me up from the table and like walked me over to like the big lobster tank. I'd never been to Red Lobster before. And he's like, that's for rich people. Lobster. Like everything he did, he like had to like announce it all big. And I feel like it was because I was obsessed with that reality show, Flavor of Love. Yeah. Did you watch that?
Oh my gosh. I watched it so and good. All of its spinoffs. Yes.
So good. Anyway, I feel like he did the reality show for so long, like right before that he just was used to like, I have to present everything really big. Or maybe that's just his personality, but like everything he presented to me was very exciting. It was very funny. He was so nice though. He was so nice.
Well, this is exactly how our son is too, by the way. That's how we got to talking about this.
Our son and Flavor Flav are very similar. And he really does wear the clock around his neck 24/7. He wore it the whole time. I never saw him without the clock on his neck. I'm not kidding.
I thought you were still talking about Flynn.
That's
like, what clock?
No, Flavor Flav always has a huge clock around his neck. He never takes it off.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yeah. That's awesome.
Anyway,
And you're always wearing very thin sweaters.
I am what?
I don't know. That's what stuck to me, that whole story.
So we do have a lot of fun stuff we're going to talk about today. We have a lot of firsts we're going to discuss with you guys. And also Erik said that we're going to, back in the day, in the beginning of these podcast days, we would do a fun game where he would make fun of the fact that I literally know nothing about movies. I've never seen any movies. And I'd have to guess things for movies. Anyway, he says he has something like that up his sleeve, which I'm very excited about. But before we get into that, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to our first sponsor of the day, which is Nextdoor. Finding new ways to stay in touch is more important than ever. And even though you're close by, you may not actually know your neighbors. Get connected with those around you without ever leaving your home with Nextdoor. This is a dream. Like getting to know people. This is so nowadays. This is so social media-y, you know, like getting to know people without having to like talk to them face to face. A dream.
It sounds right up your alley.
It's a dream. Nextdoor is a free app that securely connects verified neighbors so you always know what's happening in your local area. Post and read about your community in real time. Nextdoor is always relevant to where you live, and you can access it right from your phone. Buy and sell items, find a last-minute pet sitter, connect with interest groups, hear recommendations for local businesses, and share safety information. With Nextdoor, you can even count on your neighbors to help in any need-to-know situations, such as timely weather concerns or local updates. So we use this, first of all, to be nosy and get to know our neighbors, which is fun. But also, we just use it to get rid of an old bed frame.
Yeah, we use it to get rid of bed frames.
So like you can like share your stuff with your neighbors if you're like, I need a cup of sugar, but you don't want to like go next door and knock on the door.
I'll trade you this California King bed frame for a cup of sugar.
But that's not what happened.
You
but
just got to take it out of here. Yeah.
We could have done that. It's really, really great. So for everything that's happening, there's Nextdoor, the free neighborhood hub. Go to nextdoor.com/relax to sign up and see what your neighbors are talking about. Be sure to use the link to sign up so they know you support our show. Please do that. It helps us out so much. That's nextdoor.com/relax to join your neighborhood today. Don't forget to tell them who sent you by going to nextdoor.com/relax. That's us. Relax. Nextdoor.com/relax.
I was waiting for it.
It's not the musical episode, but surprise, I sang.
That was a good one.
Okay, so Lovey, what is this game you have for us today?
Oh, I just wanted to do the throwback, like classic movie quotes, but this time I think have you read them.
Okay.
And then try and guess from what movie they are from.
Okay.
And how they are read. Like use your instincts as an actor, as a performer, how you would read these lines that are very famous lines from popular films.
Okay.
And then guess what movie you think it's from.
Okay, I can try
but
this.
You do the read, like cold
do
reading.
It hardcore.
Yeah, and you might know some of these.
Okay. All right, are we ready? I know the first one. It's on the screen. He put the quotes on the screen. I know the first one. All right, all right, all right. Is that it?
You know that?
Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah, wow.
I have no idea what it's from, but everyone does that. All right, all right, all right. Isn't that how he says it kind of?
You can. All right, all right, all right.
That's pretty good.
Sound like that, yeah.
Wait, what's that from?
It's from a movie called Dazed and Confused.
I've never heard of that.
No?
Never heard of it. Is it a famous movie?
It's a great film, yes. Very.
That's pretty exciting. All right, next one. Say hello to my little... I feel like this one's an accent. I think I know this one. Say hello to my little friends. Uh-huh. Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What accent are you doing, by the way?
I'm trying to remember. I know I've heard it before. Uh-huh. And I'm assuming it's like a French accent.
Okay.
And I think he's probably referring to like a gun. Like he's like pulls a gun out. He's like, say hello to my little friends.
That's actually correct. Yeah.
And it is?
Uh-huh. Now let me hear your French accent holding a gun saying, say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend.
Yeah.
Wait, but I don't know what that's from. What's it from?
The famous French film Scarface.
What's Scarface?
You never seen Scarface?
Is that the one about the guy, not wrestler, what's it called when they punch each other? Boxing. Uh-huh. Is that the one about the famous boxer?
No.
What's that one called?
About the boxing movie? Mm-hmm. There's been several. Rocky?
Yes, the guy Rocky. Isn't that one called Scarface?
Yeah,
Doesn't he have a scar on his face?
Rocky is French.
No, he's not French.
And he's a boxer and he pulls out a gun.
Isn't he like a bada bing guy, Rocky?
Bada bing guy?
Like, isn't he like bada
bing?
bing?
Philadelphia. No.
Oh, I don't know. Wait, so what's Scarface about?
It is about... Do you want me to tell you seriously?
Yeah.
It is about a cocaine dealer.
Let me.
What?
Okay.
It's like a drug dealer movie, and he pulls out.
So, but he does pull out a gun.
A very big gun.
Oh, like a bazooka. You know how I know it?
Like a bazooka.
You know how I think I know it? I think I know it because doesn't Jim Carrey do that in The Mask? I feel
I'm sure he does.
I feel like I've seen Jim Carrey say hello to my little friend, but I always thought it was French. So I don't think I've seen it from the original movie. I think I've only seen it from like Jim Carrey or someone who says it.
Yeah, and he does have an accent. He's playing Cuban.
Who is it?
Al Pacino.
Oh, I have not seen him do it. I think I saw Jim Carrey or some comedian making fun of it. So I don't think I've seen the actual thing.
No. But did you, so in your mind, you've heard this before and you're like, it is French.
I don't know. I just knew it was an accent.
Great.
Like, say hello to my little friend. I'm not good at French accents. Please don't come for me.
Okay, next one.
Okay. I've had it with these snakes on the plane. Okay. I just had to read it first.
Say that again. No, that was perfect. But like, okay. But do it again.
I've had it with these snakes on this plane. I don't know what this is from.
I'm so happy I brought this game back.
Isn't there a movie called Snakes on a Plane?
Uh-huh.
Is that what this is from?
Not what this quote is from, though.
But there is a movie about that, right?
There is a movie about
crazy.
snakes on a plane, but this is actually a line from...
How would a snake survive on a plane? That's a horrible plot point. Like, that's a horrible idea for a movie. Like, snakes can't survive on a plane.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
okay,
but
so
this line is from Good Will Hunting, actually.
What's that movie about?
I'm lying. This is from the movie Snakes on a Plane, obviously.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay, wait a minute. That movie is not... I'm confident that movie is not good. And
What
I haven't
movie?
seen it.
Snakes on a Plane? Oh, you'd love it.
I'm confident it can't be good.
Why?
And I'm confident it's not like an iconic movie. So why would you include this quote? If it's like not like... I feel like this is a quote no one would know.
It's a very famous movie
like,
quote.
all right, and say hello to my little friend. Like, I've heard those. Like, I feel like those ones make sense. But like this one is like, come on.
It's a very famous line from a movie, and
I disagree.
I get it. It's like in the vein of like Anaconda or Sharknado. Like people have seen snakes on a plane. It's like for fun. It's camp.
So and who
and that
says
line
it?
is like the line of the movie. Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
And he says it like,
"Have at it with these snakes on this plane."
Yeah, exactly. It's just how he says it.
All right, next one. This is long. This is a monologue.
You're doing a monologue. Yep. Go for it.
And okay.
Lean into this.
Okay. I don't know who you are. What? You want me to do it?
I do, but it's funny. Also, this is why I do this is because it's fun for me.
Okay. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now... Okay, hold on, let me go back. If you let my daughter go now, there'll be... Wait, what? Okay. Love, there are typos in this. Okay. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if don't, love you, there are so many typos in this. But if don't, I will look for you. I will find you and I will kill you. I have no idea what that's from. There's no way this is a famous line from a movie.
Really?
Love, this is not famous.
It is. No, it is.
No, it's not. Why'd you make me read a monologue?
It's very famous. It's like
No
so
one's
famous
heard
it's
of
parodied in other things all the time.
What is this?
They made 3 of them.
What is-
Taken. Liam Neeson and Taken.
Come on. I've heard of that movie. I don't know what it is, but I've heard of that. But like, that's not a famous movie. This is not a famous thing.
No, it is. And this is like a very famous monologue.
Please tell me, you guys, if you are watching on YouTube, leave in the comments below. If you are listening and you leave comments on our little Apple review, tell me.
It's a very famous little like
This is
speech
not-
from
you-
like
none
a
of you have
film.
ever heard of this.
I was trying to look for very famous quotes from movies that are like more recent.
So this is like from like a Karen type mom who's like, if you don't give me my daughter back, I'm going to find you. Although, what a bad mom.
No, it's Liam
No
Neeson.
offense. Who's that? I've never heard of her. Liam Neeson?
Liam Neeson.
Liam?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a very famous actor.
Oh, I thought it was like a woman saying these things about her daughter.
Father about his daughter.
Okay, well, no one knows this movie. This wasn't a good
he
choice.
has a particular
No offense.
set of skills.
But like what this, I'm sorry, but like if someone took my kid and then I wouldn't say like, if you let my kid go, that'll be the end of it. I'll let it go. No worries. We're good, bro. Like, no, if you take my kid, I'm going to jail because for murder.
But the child has been kidnapped. They've been
I am
taken.
aware, but I'm saying like, what parents like, you kidnap my kid? Just give it back. No worries. That'll be the end of it.
Well, it certainly isn't the end of it in this film. He kills a lot of people.
Does he kill the kidnapper?
Yeah.
Good.
He gets his daughter back.
I'm against killing and murder. I don't like those things. But like, if you took my kid, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
all bets are off. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, that's I've never heard of that, and I don't think anyone listening or watching has heard of that. Okay, I'm just saying.
But it wasn't,
well, how is that supposed to be said?
For me.
Why is it said? Like, why did you give me a monologue? What part of this is famous? No one's memorized this whole thing.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, you keep saying that it's not, but it is.
So you perform it now. Tell me how it's supposed to be done.
I don't know who you are.
That's how he does it?
Is he
on the phone?
Yeah.
He's on the phone.
He's on the phone. Do you want to try again? He talks very low like this, and he's got like a strange accent.
No, it's your turn.
I think he's Irish.
I don't know who you are. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
I have a very particular set of skills. I will find you.
Yeah, why does he say that? Like, you're bragging to your kidnapper? I'm super talented because of my career. Like, what a weird thing to say. Like, are you an influencer? Like, is he a YouTuber? Like, why is he bragging about how talented he is? I think it's been a while since I've seen it,
but I think it's that they don't realize that they've now kidnapped the daughter of like a famous like mercenary hitman. Like, his particular set of skills is that he's really good at killing people with weapons.
I don't know. It just seems like he's bragging when he should
be. They kidnapped the wrong.
Well, then say that. Be like, give me my kid back, or you're dead meat. Instead of being like, I'm super talented.
That's a good note to the screenwriter of this film.
They should listen to me.
Yeah, you were really good in that monologue. Well done.
Thank you.
And you had a lot of opinions about it, a film that you have not seen.
I haven't seen any of these films.
Well, good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. It's like a little flashback to the beginning of the podcast when we used to do that.
Just do that for hours.
We didn't do it for hours, but we did do it every once in a while. And so anyway, this episode is not about what we used to do. I guess it is kind of. It's about our firsts, but we're not doing any more of that. Now we're moving into the. It was a really bad transition into the next thing. We are going to talk about firsts, but as I was looking for different firsts that we could talk about, I came upon some interesting facts on the interwebs that I was like, wait, I didn't know this stuff, like about, because I was looking for like fun things we could ask each other about our first experiences, you know? Uh-huh. And so I was looking for ideas, and I found like all these crazy things. So I'm going to read some of them because I thought this was, I started reading one of them to Erik in the car, and he was like, save this because we should talk about this on the podcast. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, I just wanted to hear it for the first time. Yeah.
Right. So for the first time, because it's the first time podcast. All right. The first cell phone call. Do you know when that was? Mm-mm. Because I do.
Saved by the Bell.
What? No.
Saved by the Bell. Zach Morris with the big cell phone.
He didn't have the first cell phone. It was written onto a TV show because cell phones were invented by then.
It's just the first time I ever saw a cell phone call.
April 3rd, 1973.
Wow, that's way earlier than I would have thought.
Motorola employee Martin Cooper made the first cell phone call standing outside in Manhattan to his colleague in New Jersey. His first words were, "I'm ringing you just to see if my call sounds good at your end." That's what he said. That was the first thing that was said on his cell phone.
One small step for man.
I know.
Motorola, did you ever have the Razor? Was that?
I wasn't rich enough for the Razor.
I know. Rich kids.
Gosh.
All the rich kids.
I had the Nokia brick. That's what I call it. The Nokia brick.
That also sounds.
It was like the first cell phone like that everyone had in my high school, and it was literally like a brick, and the only thing on it was Snake. I had that before there was texting.
I know the phone you're talking about. Yeah, but the kids who had the Razor.
Those are rich kids. Rich kids. Yeah, that was fancy.
Where are your Razors now?
I looked for one online the other day because I was doing a video on like all the stuff from the 2000s that I like nostalgic stuff from the 2000s. I couldn't find one.
Of course you couldn't.
Well, I feel like all these Gen Zers are like trying so hard to be like,
that they're listening to kids.
I was like, I'm sure they have. I'm sure they're trendy now to have in their pocket like a Razor scooter, but they weren't.
Like listening to cassette tapes and trying to find.
They really are. I'm not
Razor.
kidding.
Yeah.
Did you know that's popular now? Listening to cassette tapes. That's like the new, it's the new record player for these kids out
That's
there.
so funny.
I'm not kidding. It really is.
It's the only way that I experienced and listened to music growing up was that, and like making mixtapes by hitting record. You had to listen to the radio, waiting for your favorite song on the radio, and then record it to a cassette tape.
Yeah, and I think the reason I found out about this is because I'm pretty sure Olivia Rodrigo, her new album is coming out. She's coming out with a cassette tape.
That's genius.
I think that I might be lying. This is not fact. This is just what I had heard. And
that's what this podcast is, though. No facts, just things that you've heard. Just things
we've heard. Do you know what the first food that was ever microwaved was?
Hold on. A hot dog. No. Macaroni and cheese. Wait. Popcorn.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that crazy? I thought that was like so on brand.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. October 8th, 1945. Isn't that crazy? I feel like that's way longer ago than I would have thought it would have been.
They used to call microwaves space ovens.
They probably still should. Yeah. Also, popcorn sounds really good. I don't know why we're not eating it right now. It sounds amazing. Let's eat popcorn tonight. Anyway.
She's hungry.
Next one.
Wash it down with some old crab. Any of that crab left.
Wash it down with some crab juice. I got a sack of crab legs. All right. First animal in space. This is the one I read to Erik earlier. There was a dog that went into orbit in 1957, and it was the first dog to go to space, first animal to go to space.
Kind of dog.
It looks like a beagle, maybe. I don't really know. What do you think that is? I don't know what kind of
it's not a beagle. It's like a
or not
it's like
a beagle,
terrier.
a Jack Russell, like a Jack Russell Terrier.
Okay. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, terrier. Something.
That's what I meant. So it says it's also the first animal to die in space.
Ah, that's sad. What was their name?
It says as her ride, the Sputnik 2 was not engineered for re-entry. At least she got her own monuments. Well, that's kind of
Wait.
rude.
They just sent this dog into space with no intention of
Laika, Laika. Is that how you spell that? Laika.
Sure. They just sent this dog into space with no...
Well, they successfully did it once, it sounds, and then they tried to do it again.
But with no intention of bringing the dog back?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe that is...
Said. Yeah, it says, tragically, she also became the first animal to die since, as her ride, the Sputnik 2 was not engineered for re-entry. Yeah, so I guess they just sent her out to die? Oh, that's awful.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what was the scientific purpose of this?
I don't know. Just to do it? That's pretty awful.
Way to go, humans.
I know, we're lame. The first gold medal in the Olympics. This is interesting to me because it was in 1904 that they had the first gold medal. And that's when they were introduced as like the first place prize, whatever. But they were expensive because it was solid gold. And so I didn't know this. And I feel like my life is a lie because
what were they giving out before that?
The Olympics that was when it was introduced. I don't know. Yeah. But ever since 1912, they've been like, nah, it's too expensive. So now, ever since 1912, they take this, they're cast in silver and then coated in gold. They're not pure gold. That's a ripoff.
In my mind, I never thought of a gold medal being actual solid gold.
I did. It's the Olympics. I never thought that. It's the Olympics. You would think they would go all out.
I know, but still, cute. There's a lot of sports in that Olympics. That's a lot of gold.
I only have a couple more. Okay, so first, voicemail message. You're not going to believe when this was. April 9th, 1860 was the first voicemail message.
Yeah, I don't believe that. You're right.
Edward Leon Scott de Martinville inadvertently invented the first voice message decades before voicemail would become the blessing and the curse it is today. He sang a 10-second clip of the French folk song Au clair de la lune, not to be confused with Clair de Lune, which is what I thought it was, and then I looked it up. Doesn't sound good. The first voicemail recording, it sounds very scary. You can. But
it's like a recording through a telephone.
Yeah. Onto I don't really know. I don't really understand. But I guess that was the first.
I hear that's how
voicemail message.
Olivia Rodrigo is recording her next album.
But it says scientists weren't able to play the record back until 2008, though. Isn't that crazy? That just recently they were able to play back. That's wild.
I pretty much don't believe any of these.
Okay.
Random facts
I have two more, and I think these are good ones. First roll of toilet paper. Hello. That's pretty. That's a good one.
Well, yeah, when?
1857.
What were they doing before that?
Joseph Gayeti. They were using the hands.
What?
That's what it says.
I'm sure there was.
You think people who don't wash their hands after using the toilet are gross now? Today we at least have toilet paper. In centuries past, people used just their actual hands when there was no antibacterial soap. So Joseph Gayetti, he created toilet paper in 1857. He named it medical paper, and he claimed it was the greatest necessity of the age. And this is the final one I'm going to say, which is the first.
I wonder what that felt like. I wonder what the first toilet paper.
Oh, I'm sure it was very scratchy.
You ever had like a bad toilet paper?
Yes.
There's a big difference between like low grade and then like the triple ply quilted.
Oh,
like
we
what
know.
did it feel like in 18?
That was not good.
Whatever you said, that did not feel.
No, it did not feel good. We all know it did not feel good. They didn't have 2-ply back then.
Somebody was like, I'll stick my hand.
I'm sure a lot of you were like, I'll stick with my hand. I'll stick with my hand.
Hey, Colleen, you ever wiped with just your hand? Like
Are you asking me this seriously? Because absolutely not. Okay. Have you?
No.
Wait, why did you just ask me that? I said that's a real question.
No, because I wondered like.
Wait, what do you mean you wondered? Why did you wonder this?
Because you were like, for centuries, since the dawn of time, everyone's just wiped with their hand. And so I just like, I'm posing the question, have you ever been in a pinch where you had to just use your bare hand? I wasn't implicating myself.
Yes, you just did.
I certainly didn't say like, well, we've all done that. That's not what I said.
That's the only reason you asked that question because the only reason you would ask that question is because it makes sense in your mind that someone might do that.
Well, I don't know what kind of, you get into weird situations all the time.
I have absolutely never wiped my butt with my hand.
Never?
I've said as Miranda that I have. I'm pretty sure there's a video of me in the past being like, just use your hand. It's green. You know, like I said it's like, because it's ridiculous. And as Miranda, I say ridiculous things that no one would say.
I don't know, like if you ever been in like a weird situation where you had to do that.
Have you? For real, you have to be honest.
Not that I can think of.
You're lying.
Not that I can think of.
For real, you have. I don't believe you. Have you? Why are you thinking about it?
I feel like it's come up. Like, I don't know. Like, you know, I don't know. I can't remember. It's obviously, no. Then no. The answer is no.
Oh my gosh. I'm married to a man who's wiped his own anus with his fingertips.
No, I haven't. I said I haven't.
Okay, you're not selling this at all. No one believes you. Oh my gosh, I am shook. Okay, one more. First video on YouTube. This one shocked me. So the first video on YouTube went up on April 23rd, 2005, which was just 2 years before my first YouTube video. But the video is just like a guy standing in front of elephants, and he's like, so I'm here with some elephants, and they have a very long nose. They have a good
This
long
is the first
snout.
what?
YouTube video.
No, I didn't.
You were just thinking about wiping your butt with your hands?
I actually was, but like I couldn't remember the time. Hey, if you're listening to this, all my hand wipers out there, write in. Tell me about like some sort of like.
Oh, okay, you just admitted it because you just said all my hand wipers out there. Like you're part of this group of people who wipe their butts with their hands.
I just think that like there's a circumstance.
No,
where,
there's
like,
not.
Someone had to do this.
Yes, before toilet paper in the 1800s.
No, recently, like you're like where would it be though? Like you
tell us
stuck somewhere.
Where
and you need
were you stuck, love? Where were you stuck? When did this happen?
And there wasn't any toilet paper or leaves.
So you were camping?
I don't know.
If you know,
I'm just saying hypothetically, like someone out there, write a review on Apple Podcasts and tell us about that time you had to. So 2005 was the first YouTube video.
Yes.
And it was a man talking to elephants?
You were not. You were very much thinking about like, oh no, now everyone knows my secret that I wipe my butt with my hands. No, it just isn't what you'd expect, the first YouTube video. Like if you watch it, I highly recommend everyone go and look it up. It's like 18 seconds and it's just this guy sitting in front of elephants like at a zoo or something. It's just like, dude. And he's just like, so there's some elephants and they have a really long nose. And that's kind of it.
Did he like, was he one of the founders of YouTube or something?
I don't think so.
How did he get on there first?
Dude. I have no idea, but it was the first one.
Because because there's always like, who was the guy on MySpace that was like always your friend because he had created
Tom,
MySpace?
I think?
Yeah, you would think that YouTube would have like that version and be like, welcome to YouTube. I started YouTube. My name's is Tom.
No, it doesn't say. It just says it's a boy explaining that elephants have long tusks. Oh, it was tusks, not nose, but.
So someone was like, all right, YouTube launch. And this kid was like, oh, I got that tusk video. I'll just immediately and like put it up first.
Put it up before YouTube put up anything? Like, come on, YouTube, get on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have been smiling and laughing so much, which goes along with our next ad that I want to talk about because it has to do with your smile, guys. Are you unhappy with your smile? Because you don't have to be. be. Thousands of people have used CANDID, the clear, comfortable, removable, and practically invisible aligners to help straighten their teeth, and now they love their smile. Just like Justin from Atlanta, Georgia, he had a gap in his teeth and he always noticed that people would be staring at his mouth. So he was looking for a fix. CANDID ended up being the perfect company for him, and now he can't stop smiling. That could be you. CANDID is here to help straighten your teeth so you can fall in love with your smile, just like Justin, guys. Your treatment is prescribed and closely monitored remotely by a licensed orthodontist who's an expert in tooth movement. You'll have the same quality of care you'd get from an in-office orthodontist from the comfort and convenience of your own home. And while other companies use general dentists, CANDID only works with orthodontists. With CANDID, the same orthodontist who created your plan is with you from start to finish, so you never have to wonder how you're doing. The average CANDID treatment is just 6 months. I am so jealous. You'll start seeing results way before then, and it costs thousands less than traditional braces. I had braces, guys, and I'm so jealous.
Me too.
That I didn't have this.
They told me it happened for a year. They made me wear them for 3.
Yeah, I had mine for almost 2 years.
They wouldn't take them off.
Yeah, it's the worst. And the metal in your mouth. These are like invisible and like, oh, come on. I wish I so desperately wish I could have used this, and I'm so jealous of anyone who does. So if you guys want to try it out and you want to become your best you, start straightening your teeth today. Right now, you can save $75 on CANDID starter kit. Go to candidco.com/relax and use code RELAX. That's candidco.com/relax, code RELAX. Take advantage of this limited time offer to save $75 on your starter kit. candidco.com/relax. And don't forget the code RELAX. Guys, check it out. I'm so jealous of anyone who uses that. Because I think I have straight teeth. I'm very proud of my straight teeth because I endured so much pain for these teeth in my teenage years. But it was because I had a mouth full of metal. And I'm very jealous of anyone who gets only 6 months of a basically invisible aligner. It's amazing. Okay, it's time for the firsts. It's time, Lovey. Are you ready?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think I am.
Well, everyone's always being like, well, what's your first kiss? And what's your first this? And what's your first that? And so I thought, you know what? We're going to do a whole episode of firsts. Okay?
Okay.
Here we go. We're going right into it. So there used to be a tag, as we would call them back in the day on YouTube, that was called like my first time. And everyone would do it. And you talk about the first time you did all these different things, just like a list. So I pulled a bunch of those, and I pulled a bunch of other ones that I could find all over the internet of first times of things.
Okay.
We're going to answer these questions for people. They've been asking so often.
That sounds like a comfortable,
every time,
fun time.
Every time I say, what do you guys want us to talk about? People always are like, what was your first kiss? What was the first time you guys dated? What was your first blah, 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 whatever it is.
Okay.
And I'm like, we're going to answer these questions. And if you want to know the first time.
You might be answering. I don't know that I'm going to.
You're not going to answer all these?
I don't know. I don't know what they are.
First one, love.
Did all this. Okay. Oh,
your
God.
first broken bone. I don't think I've ever had one. I might have broken like a toe, and then they just kind of heal themselves.
Couple.
What have you broken?
I've broken my leg.
Mm-hmm. What? Wait. Oh, yes. Yeah. I knew that.
The bottom of my tibia.
Skateboarding, right?
Skateboarding. Doing a board slide on a ledge. And then my wheels and trucks got hooked up. I twisted it. It snapped.
What?
I had to wear one of those hard casts. Did you just hear it pop when I did that? Because now it pops all the time.
Oh, my gosh.
It was the first day of summer.
Is that from breaking your leg or because you're older?
I think it's from breaking that. It's only that leg at that.
That was a
joint.
diss. You didn't even accept it. You were just like, yeah.
I'm comfortable. Do you hear it again?
Yeah, I did hear it. You can't hear it. No one else can hear it though. So you're just saying that.
We can add in some pops in post.
Okay.
But yeah, I had to wear a hard cast from the first day of summer, and then I think they took it off the last day of summer, right before my junior year of high school. So I had just gotten my driver's license and then couldn't drive for the entire summer.
That's so good.
And I had a hard cast on. And then I also had this finger. You know what a Lazy Susan is?
Yes, of course.
Have you ever had in a house you've lived in or apartment or whatever, like a corner cabinet that is a Lazy Susan cabinet that the whole thing
I know what you're
rotates
talking about,
around?
yeah.
So when I was a kid in our house, we had one of those that was in the lower corner of like the kitchen cabinets that spun, and I was just spinning it and then stuck my finger in and it went.
How old are you?
Yeah, little like 5 or 6, but it's still like all
Oh my gosh.
crooked.
I don't think I've ever broken a finger or broken anything except for knock on wood.
You're gonna talk about your toe again?
Yeah. Oh, do not. Oh, don't remind me of how angry you made me.
Toe.
I literally broke my
broken.
Oh.
Show me the X-ray.
I literally broke my toe so
Remember when you
insane.
did a drawing of it for me or something? you're like, it is broken. I'll show you a drawing, and you like did like a crayon drawing of like a broken toe.
I broke my toe so bad. My whole foot was like neon purple and blue. And Erik was like, "You didn't break your toe." It made me so mad that you didn't believe me.
Still does apparently.
Anyway,
Okay.
So there's some good ones in here. But first foreign country you ever visited? I think mine was Mexico.
Canada.
Really?
Yeah.
When?
Montreal. When I was in like a senior in high school, me and 2 friends drove up to Montreal.
You drove there?
From Connecticut. Yeah.
What about the first flight to another country?
Canada again.
Really? Where?
Yeah, to Vancouver to shoot a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh.
I didn't travel. I wasn't rich like some people.
What? What are you saying?
I was never like never had the opportunity to travel abroad.
Yeah, I didn't either.
The first time I went to
later.
like Europe was with you on one of your tours.
Oh yeah, many moons ago.
Yeah.
I think mine was Mexico. And oh wait, no, I went to Scotland. I went to the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh when I was a sophomore in high school with my high school.
Yeah. You've
Obviously
mentioned that
with my high school.
on this podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Your first plane ride. Okay, we just kind of said that. Well, what was your first plane ride though? That was overseas. First plane ride.
I didn't go on a plane till I was like 16, and I literally went
I thought you told
just
me
to
18.
go on a plane.
So what's the real age here?
I don't know. I think it was in high school, like junior or senior year, so 16, 17.
Okay.
It might have been 18, but it was like my dad would have to travel sometimes for work, and like it was so nuts to me. Everyone had been on planes their whole lives, and I'd never been. We always took vacations in like the family van.
Right.
So I just begged to go. He literally went to Florida for 2 days, and not like Miami or anything. Like I don't even know where it was in Florida, and I just went with him so I could ride on the plane. Yeah.
Did you like it?
I did not, and I still don't.
Yeah, you do not.
Yeah.
My first was to Kansas, and I was 11. Well, I guess I went to Kansas when I was like 4. I have a lot of family in Kansas, but I don't remember that one. The first flight I remember was when I think I was 10 or 11, and I went with my grandma to visit with family, because my mom's side is all from Kansas. A lot of them still live there. Kansas City, Kansas. And so I think that was my first. I was very excited.
Yeah. Did you like it? Your first flight?
Yeah, I like flying. I think flying's
It's so
fun.
interesting that this is what
What?
your people want to know. They were always
Yeah,
there.
they always ask me, what's your first, that? So I'm
they
like,
wanted to know the first time.
this is what they wanted to know.
Oh, so you're not like trolling them or anything?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, this one actually is juicy though. Your first boyfriend or girlfriend.
We've also gone over this on this podcast.
What?
Yeah, remember the whole Lisa drama?
Oh yeah, wait, how old were you in that?
I don't know, 4th, 5th grade? But like not real, not obviously, not like a real,
Oh yeah, and she broke up with you with a note, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Folded into the shape of a football note. You know what I mean? Like yes.
Shortly after that podcast, by the way, Erik, this is a very many moons ago, we did a podcast where we talked about Erik's first girlfriend. And shortly after that, you wrote me a note on a football note and like put it on my bed.
I had to Google like how to fold a note.
It was very cute.
Like that. What?
My first boyfriend was in high school. I think I was 17, 18. Well, I was technically someone's girlfriend for one day, and then I broke up with him after one day. And so I don't know that counts. But then my first boyfriend wasn't until after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
And he cheated on me. So.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I've told you this.
I know, but like you looked at me so intensely and then you like blinked twice and I was like, are you okay?
I think I'm sleeping. I'm really tired.
Yeah. Wow. And you're obviously like, you're still mad about that?
No, I do not care. Go for it. Not you, him, anyone I don't care about anyone else.
Yeah. I don't think like my first like, what you would say. Yeah. I guess like freshman in high school, but like it was.
Have you ever had a girlfriend cheat on you?
Oh, sure. I mean, I think they all, I don't know.
What?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
You think so? Like, wouldn't you know that? Like,
I
that's
don't
like
know.
heart-wrenching.
I'm just used to be really uncomfortable, and I didn't want to like answer it. I was like, but,
okay, so yes, but we're not allowed to know the deets. Your first car.
Yeah.
The answer is yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just got really excited. My first car was a vehicle known as a Volkswagen Fox, which they don't make anymore. I think it was older than it was like made before I was born. It had 2 doors. It was stick shift, but only had 4 gears. It could only go about 60 miles an hour and was just like a straight up, no power steering, just a metal death box of a car.
Love that.
Red. Bumper was like unhinged on one side.
I feel like everyone should have a death box down for their first car.
Yeah, it was insane. Like the wheels weren't even as big as normal car wheels.
Where'd you
they were
get
like
it?
smaller. It was like handed down to me by someone who had gotten a better car. I think I bought it for $400.
Okay.
It had a bad horn. So if you honked the horn, good luck unhonking the horn. It just stayed honking.
I love that.
Forever.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, it had that thing. It must have been like, oh, this is a new technology. People are going to be so excited about this. Whereas the shoulder belt and the seat belt was attached to like the door.
Oh,
so
and
like,
it went like, oh my God, that's like, fancy. My grandma had one of those.
Did not work.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm shocked I'm alive. But that was, a Volkswagen. They don't make them anymore.
Yeah.
If they did, like I would,
you'd want
for
one?
nostalgia purposes. Yeah.
That's amazing. I feel like we had similar first car experiences. I don't know types of cars, but mine was also like terrifying. It was a 1986 white Volvo that my parents would only let us have Volvos if they could find them for us. That was the only type of car we were allowed to have because my mom was like, they're built like tanks. You can't get hurt. Yeah. And so that's why she'd let us have those. And it's true.
The Fox was like an 84. So
okay, 2 years off. But ours, I'm pretty sure my dad took his own car to the mechanic. And at the mechanic was this awful looking like 86 Volvo.
I bet it look cool now, like though, right?
I loved it. Like I loved that car. Yeah. And the guy was like, it doesn't work. Like you can have it. I feel like they got it for free or it was like very cheap. Like it was like, it's garbage. And I only needed a car to go to and from school. So they're like, it's fine. She's going to school like a mile away.
So close to your school. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved that car so much. And like I can still remember the feeling of like clicking the blinker and the sound the blinker made. Like it was like so
I have that
vivid.
with the Fox also. Yeah.
And then my dad there's also this other car that kind of got passed down to all the kids as a first car, because that car of course did not last very long. But there was another car that all of us used that was called the K car. And it just like was always around, that we all used. That was awful. I don't even know what kind of car it was. I think it's literally a K car. Like, I don't know if it's like if it was real. Like, it's not even a real car. It had like the material on the top of the like, on the roof or the ceiling, whatever the car.
Was it just hanging down?
Just dangling like a bubble.
That's what it was like in the Fox too. You would just like feel it like touching your head. And like no matter what you did, especially if it rained. Yeah. If it rained,
oh,
then
that's the worst. Oh. And then also the air conditioner didn't work obviously, but what it did do, we called it the leaf blower, because if you parked underneath anything that had any sort of foliage that could possibly fall through the vents of the car, it would just go into the leaf blower section, which used to be an air conditioner section at some point. So if you turn on the air conditioner, it would just shoot these tiny sticks and leaves at you at like full force and give you like cuts all over your face.
That's amazing.
I loved it. And there was moss growing all over the hood and like plants growing like out of the hood of the car. It was crazy. This K car.
And everybody just used it. It was like a neighborhood car.
I know. It was just, I don't even know how it started, but like that was the car I had. I think maybe before I got my Volvo, that was the car I got to use. And I'm pretty sure Rachel had to drive that one. I think Christopher drove it for a little bit. Like, I don't know where it came from or how it ended up in our family and when it died, but it existed and it was lethal. It was terrifying. Yeah. So anyway.
I get it though. Like it was what a bad car that was, but I loved it. Like I took photography in like junior year in high school, and the only pictures I took were of the car.
I think.
Because I was like, it just looks so cool.
I think my favorite car I've ever had was that car.
Yeah.
Like, I think my favorite car, I've hated every car I've ever had, but that car I loved and was devastated when it was like hit its last leg. Like, I was devastated.
We should like look online and just.
I would be stoked. Like, just to have.
Is that a good idea? Like buying our first cars.
That's in my next YouTube video.
I think that's.
They can't be that expensive. If I got mine for free from a mechanic.
If I bought a Volkswagen Fox a long time ago for $400. Huh?
Yeah. Where would we put them? We'd have to get rid of them right away. Can we buy a car?
Streets, man. What do you mean? Where you put them? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Why did you say that so intensely, like through your teeth? You're like, the streets, man.
Fast and Furious clicked in. I'm ready to go.
Okay, that was very interesting to me. First celebrity crush. Who is your first celebrity crush, Lovey?
I don't know.
I liked Uncle Jesse from Full House.
Yeah, I guess that.
Is that yours too?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Is that
really?
yours too? Yeah, I think
he just like played that guy in that show where he was like,
I
lots of hair flips and things.
It's not like he was my type or anything. I was a kid, and I was like, you're meant to believe that was like the attractive one or whatever. So I think it was just like my brain was like, oh yeah, that was my crush. Although
John
I don't.
Stamos.
Who else? I don't know who my crush was.
You didn't have like a poster.
Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly was mine, big time. What? He's amazing. I heard he's not very nice though. I heard he was like really mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which
I don't
really
know
broke my heart.
Him, but
very
that's
talented.
That's interesting. Did you love Singing in the Rain or something?
Well, I did love Singing in the Rain, but I love musical theater, and he's a very talented dancer and director and actor, and I just loved watching him. I thought I was very attracted to his talent. I just thought he was so talented.
Yeah.
I was like, he's so good. But then I heard he's like a jerk, so that's unfortunate.
I think I remember there being like a Pamela Anderson poster.
Oh,
remember
come
Baywatch?
on,
I know it's pretty cliche.
That's your Uncle Jesse. Who's your actual first crush?
I remember. Do you remember Noxzema?
No.
There was a girl on like the Noxzema commercials.
What's Noxzema?
It was like a face cream.
There's a face cream girl you like?
But I just remember being very little and being like, what's up with this face cream girl? What's up? You know what I mean? Maybe we need some
pretty.
of that Noxzema, yeah. And then I remember.
Now I need to know who this is. I need to look it up.
There was like a movie I feel like it was like Jessica Alba in a movie.
Okay, she's very pretty.
It was called like Idle Hands. Have you ever heard of that movie? It's like a Devon Sawa movie.
It's funny how we've known each other for so many years now, and you still always
Reference
ask me
movies.
if I've seen a movie.
It was like, yeah. We had Jessica Alba in this movie, Idle Hands. I was like, hello. I was young. I think that was.
That's how Erik tells you he likes you. He goes, hello.
Yeah, no, but I think the Noxzema girl.
Okay, I kind of want to look this up.
You can look it up.
Noxzema girl. So there's a Noxzema commercial.
Like old Noxzema commercial.
Okay, and
I don't know. I can't even picture her.
Wait. I searched Noxzema commercial, and the first thing that comes up is Noxzema commercial girl.
Really? Yeah.
She was like everyone's pick, apparently.
Yeah, I don't.
Wait, who is this woman?
I don't know.
Her?
I haven't seen her. Oh, I guess it was her.
Is it her?
I think it was.
Is this the girl? She's pretty.
Yeah, I don't. I couldn't even remember what she. Yeah.
Is that her? She's so pretty. Oh my goodness.
So I think she did lots of commercials for them. I think it wasn't like a one-off. Like I feel like she was in every.
So she was your crush. I like that.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
Okay, I like that answer. That's better than like Pamela Anderson. Nothing against Pamela Anderson. Everyone loves Pamela Anderson. She's amazing. But like, that's kind of cliche answer, like my Uncle Jesse answer.
Well, right, but like
I like the Noxzema answer.
Like what came on TV when I was
I know, but that's
12.
just because everyone tells you like, oh look, they're bouncing boobs on the beach.
Right.
Like you're a boy, so you like that. Like instead of like what you actually were into.
Yeah.
Which is still probably be bouncing boobs on the beach, but like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Anyway, not speaking of bouncing boobs on the beach, it is time to say thank you to our next ad. You guys, this one's changed my life. I'm stoked to talk about this today. Stamps.com. A couple weeks ago, Erik told a story about going into the post office, and it was his like who needs to relax for the week. He had to stand in line at the post office, and there's this girl who cut the line, and he was like already annoyed because he was standing in line for so long, all this stuff. Well, You'll
Not
never hear a
anymore.
story like that ever again from Erik. He'll never be frustrated in the post office ever again because of Stamps.com. Think of all the things you could have done with that extra time and all the extra money because you paid full price at the post office sending that package, which is we don't do anymore because we don't have to because of Stamps.com. With Stamps.com, you can mail and ship anytime, anywhere, right from your computer. You can send letters, ship packages, and pay less, a lot less, with discounted rates from USPS, UPS, and more. So we're constantly shipping stuff out. Obviously, Erik's parents live on the other side of the country, so we ship stuff to them from Flynn. I'm always shipping stuff out to you guys. I'll do giveaways like weekly on my vlogs. I recently sent out a sweatshirt to someone. I send out like lip glosses and my lipsticks and just prizes and presents whenever I can. And it just meant a lot of trips to the post office, but not anymore. So this has actually changed our lives for the better in many ways, and it can for you too. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer. It's a must-have for any business, whether you're a small office sending invoices, a side hustle Etsy shop, shipping out orders, or just navigating this hybrid work life. Stamps.com can handle it with all the ease. No wonder over 1 million businesses choose Stamps.com for their mailing and shipping. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. It's that easy. With Stamps.com, you get discounts up to 40% off post office rates and up to 66% off UPS shipping rates. Not to mention, Stamps.com is a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, saving you time and money. So stop wasting time going to the post office and go to Stamps.com instead. There's no risk, and with our promo code RELAX, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. So just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in RELAX. That's Stamps.com, promo code RELAX. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again. All right, let's keep going with these firsts.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm actually living for this, so I'm glad.
I
I'm really
it's good.
happy
I was
all
really
the fans
nervous at
have been
first.
like,
yeah, I've been asking.
please talk about all your firsts.
I'm glad
you and
they were
Erik, we
too.
just want to know, you and Erik, all of your first things. And I was like, this could be fun. And it is. Okay, your first ever cell phone, which we already talked about. I had the Nokia brick, but I don't think you told me what your first one was. What was your first cell phone? Do you know?
It was like I got to use sometimes my my dad's work one, like when I would go out, like, you know, like on the weekend, like I would use his like work cell phone.
And what was
that
it?
Flipped open, and then you had to pull an antenna out.
Yes.
I don't remember what kind it was. I remember it. Yeah, I don't.
I will
The
say,
first-
sorry to interrupt you,
Go for it.
because I know you'll agree with me on this one, and I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you, but like, you know what the power that you felt when you flipped open a flip phone? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you just use your thumb and you like flip. It just like,
Yeah.
it was powerful.
They always felt.
I miss that.
I don't, because it felt very like flimsy to me. Like it felt like.
Oh, I loved it. Anyway, sorry. What were you going to say?
Yeah, and then the first, I didn't get a cell phone until I was in college. That was my
Okay.
first cell phone, and it was like an LG something.
Okay.
Does LG still make phones? I know
Yeah,
they make
well, we
like
used
televisions.
them on Haters Back Off. We used the LG flip phones on Haters Back Off.
But I remember it was a big deal because like the screen was in color. It was like one of the first ones where it was in
Ooh.
color, but there was just the same really basic graphics. They were just
Could you take pictures?
in color? No.
I was going to say, that's wild.
No pictures, and
Yeah.
there were no pictures to look at on it. There was no like web browsing.
Well,
There
of
was
course
nothing.
not,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was just the graphics were in color, and that was like a huge deal. Also, still an antenna you had to pull out of it, and it flipped open.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we had similar
Did
first
you
phone
ever?
experiences.
Did you ever have a BlackBerry?
I did have a BlackBerry. I had the
too.
BlackBerry that was a touch screen BlackBerry. It was like the same time the iPhone was coming out. And I
No
liked it
trackball?
because I had a trackball on it. No, it didn't. Yes, it did. But at the bottom, I think. It was really weird. But the screen clicked. Because a lot of people's issue with the iPhone when this came out, I don't know if you remember this, but when the iPhone came out, people were like, well, nothing clicks. Like when you push the buttons, it's just like nothing happens.
Right. Yeah.
It was like
I
a
remember
big
being
drama.
really freaked out by.
Yeah, I was freaked out by it. So I
Yeah.
was like, no, how do I know the button's working if there's no clicking?
Yeah.
So there's a BlackBerry that came out that like competed with the iPhone that the whole screen clicked. So it was still a touchscreen like an iPhone, but the whole screen would click when you would touch it.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that one. That
I
sounds
did.
fancier.
It
I had like the
was
actual
awful.
trackball that would like fall out.
Yeah,
It
I
would,
know
like,
which one you're talking
yeah.
about. I think Rachel had that BlackBerry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone had a BlackBerry. All right. So your first ever date. What was your first date?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't remember like my first ever like date.
Yeah.
I think I wasn't like I was cool, but I wasn't like I was kind of the shy.
I was cool, but I was...
Well, I had like my best friend was cool, and I was like his shy best friend.
Which
so I would just
one?
like, so I remember like going with him, like
Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like we would have like he would like have like bring a girl to a movie, and I would go with them and just like sit next to them on like not as a chaperone, but because like
third wheel.
As a third wheel. Yeah.
But you don't remember a first date you went on?
No, I can't remember like a first date. I mean, no, like you would like meet people at like the mall with your friends and like walk around. You know what I mean? The mall.
There's no like memory of that of you like getting ready for a date, like taking a girl out to dinner. Like that doesn't exist in your mind.
I gotta to dinner.
I don't know.
No, not. I can remember like first like time having like a date to a dance and like having that kind of a thing, but not like not like dating. Like because I guess the first time like when I first got the first day I got my driver's license, I took a girl to TGI Fridays.
Ooh, fancy!
I know those fries were very good, and
gosh.
that was like a nice restaurant.
That's very expensive.
Yeah,
like
TGI Fridays.
Really expensive.
Are there TGI Fridays
Yeah,
around
I
here?
think they still exist. Can we go once COVID's over? They have this like Jack Daniel's sauce that's so amazing. They put on their chicken and on their ribs. Oh my gosh, that Jack Daniel's
Let's get
sauce.
an old Volvo and drive to a TGI Fridays.
Oh my gosh, we're doing it. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
something like
amazing.
that. What was your first date?
I think my first date was out of high school, and it was like my first like quote unquote boyfriend. And we went to the movies.
What did you
And
say?
I don't remember. I don't watch movies, so I don't remember what it was. Clearly, it had a big impact on me. But what I do remember is that I lied to my mom because I wasn't allowed to date. And so even though I was about to go to college, so I was 17, and I was not allowed to date. Like my parents were like weird about that. And so I lied, and I was like, I'm just going to go hang out with my friends. And I said I was with my friend Christina, and we're going to go to a movie. So I went to the movies.
You lied. You're a liar.
I know, because they were like, you can't date. And I'm like, I'm 17 and a boy asked me out that I think is cute. Like, I'm going to go. Like, hello, you know? So anyway, my mom.
It's cute, huh?
Not as cute as you. My mom knew that I was lying because she's not stupid. And I'm a horrible liar, as you know. Like, I literally cannot lie. And so my mom got Rachel in the car. So I'm 17, which means Rachel is in like 13-ish. And so Rachel is in the car with my mom. She drives to the movie theater, and she's driving around, and she's like, look for Christina's car. Because I said I was with Christina. And my mom was texting me, how's the movie? And I was like, it's good. And she's like, and I knew my mom knew. I remember
Gwen
looking at the
always
boy,
knows,
and I was
dude.
like, my mom knows I lied. Like, my mom
She
knows I'm here.
always
She's
knows.
asking who's here. She's asking if we like the movie. Like, she knows. And he was like, whatever. And then
She went and like just scoped out she did
And
like a
then-
full-on parking lot stakeout.
and she knew this boy. Let's call him Tommy, just for the sake of keeping his identity sacred. Let's call him Tommy. My mom knew that like I was working
Why
with this
Tommy?
guy. I don't know. It's just a name. The first name that came to my mind. She knew that she knew that I like was around this guy a lot because we were both working at the same theater camp. And so she had assumptions that like I liked him or he liked me or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so she took Rachel and she goes, do you see Tommy's car? Because she knew Rachel knew what his car looked like. She's like, look for Tommy's
How
car.
would Rachel know what his car looked like?
Because she would come to the theater camp.
Oh, okay.
And so she looked at her and she's like, oh yeah, that's Tommy's car right there. And so Rachel
Yeah.
totally snitched on me on accident. She wasn't doing it on purpose. She was doing what her mom told her. But like,
Did you get in trouble?
yeah, I lied to my mom.
Yeah.
I lied to my mom to go on a date with a boy. But I was like almost in college. Like I left for college like a month later.
What was the film?
I do not know. I do not remember at all. Couldn't tell you. I don't remember any movies.
Mine
ever.
was like Fight Club or Blair Witch Project was like the
date
first
thing?
date movie. Yeah.
Oh, Fight Club is a great movie.
Yeah.
Blair Witch Project is a terrifying movie, but a good date movie, I guess, because she's gonna like cling on to you and be all
movie
scared.
theaters, yeah, and then we were like scared to walk to the car. Like,
yeah, that movie
truly.
was like, that movie destroyed everyone. Like that was like
totally like
the scariest movie
suspension
ever.
of disbelief. Like I was like, this is real. I'm gonna believe that this is real.
It was like the first
I want to
vlog.
believe this is real.
It was
I
like a
want to
vlog.
be scared. Yeah.
First ever kiss. It's getting juicy now.
What's going on?
It's getting juicy. My first kiss was...
Why'd you just lick your lips like that right
because
before
they
you
were
said
dry.
it?
Why do people lick their lips? Weirdo.
You go, my first kiss.
I did not be... I was not weird. My first kiss was... I was 16. I've told the story a million times, so anyone who knows me at all knows this one. I
don't know that I do.
High school. It wasn't even a real kiss because it was a stage kiss, and everyone was watching. It was so embarrassing. I was in Pirates Penzance. I was Mabel, and it was like the popular guy at school who like did football. He's like the star of the football team, but also did musicals. He's like one of those annoying people. That was you.
Well, it was lacrosse, not football. But,
I don't know if
yeah.
that's as cool as football in high school back in the early 2000s.
It is on the East
I've
Coast.
never even heard of lacrosse.
Do they have lacrosse out here? Do
No.
they have it at your high school?
No.
Oh, yes. I
Maybe
guess
they do now,
East
but-
Coast thing, maybe.
What is lacrosse? Isn't that where you're on like a horse and like...
You being serious?
Yeah. What's lacrosse?
It's the one where it's like I have to like explain the sport
Yeah,
to
isn't
you.
it where you like have a net on a stick and you're on a horse and you like pick up balls?
There's no
and...
horse involved.
What sport am I thinking of that has a horse?
A polo?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Isn't that like lacrosse?
No,
Oh.
it's not remotely.
What's lacrosse?
No equestrian animals. It's just you have like a basket end of a stick, and you can pass it to people, and you wear like essentially
That's not polo?
hockey pads and a helmet from.
What's the ball
waist
look
up.
like?
It's white and like this and very hard and hurts
Like
a lot.
like a softball or like a baseball?
Like around the size of a baseball, I would say, but it's like this very, very dense, hard, like rubberized material.
People play lacrosse for real?
Yep.
I don't know anything about lacrosse. I knew that you played it, but at first, when you first told me you played lacrosse, I thought that was like track.
I was a state all-star.
Like when you first told me you did
I made,
lacrosse,
like,
I was
state
like,
my junior and
what does that
senior year of
mean?
high
You
school.
made state. That's
So
like such a
I was
thing
like on
people
a
say.
like
It's
all-star
like not a
team,
real
like
thing.
and played against another all-star team of like from people from different high schools.
What was your position? Do you have positions in lacrosse, like linebacker?
I did. I played since I'm lefty. I played left defense. Yeah.
Defense.
Yeah.
They have that on basketball. I've heard that.
do. They have defense on basketball.
I've heard that before.
You know about as much about sports as you do movies.
I know less.
Yeah. Great. Next question.
Anyway, no, first kiss. So anyway, I was telling mine before you had to brag about your lacrosse. Anyway, I had a kissing scene in this musical, and we had to rehearse the scene in front of the whole class, and everyone knew it was my first kiss. And so everyone like screamed and made a big deal of it, like which was
Really?
really embarrassing.
That's so strange.
And it was super, super embarrassing. That was my first kiss.
What kind of kiss was it?
It was it was a stage kiss. It was
Yeah.
like where you don't even like, there's no like, to end the kiss. It's just
Yeah.
like your lips are, it's the same as like going like this with your hands or like your arms. Like stage kisses aren't real. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like, feels the same as going like, just putting the palms or backs of your hands together for a second. It feels like nothing.
Yep.
Anyway, what was your first kiss?
It was you.
Come on.
It was a girl who had a birthday party, and it was one of like those first like co-ed birthday parties. We must have been like junior high. Mm-hmm. And it literally like an old sitcom. There was like a game of spin the bottle in the basement.
Really?
Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't the cool one. I was the shy friend of the cool one. So I was also at the party, but I was just kind of there. And I remember like it going around for a while and being terrified of like this like actual game of spin the bottle of it hitting me. And then it did. And
Who was the girl?
her name was, I'm not going to say it. But like, I remember like, I was very shy, you know what I mean? And I remember it because everyone who had gone, they were just doing like essentially what you just described.
Yeah, like a
as,
limp peck.
Yeah. And the girl who spawned it and landed on me was like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. And I was like, what?
She was like a deep voice like that?
Yeah. I was just like, I don't care. and
This 11-year-old
she
girl?
full on, like, I remember put her.
She put her tongue in your mouth?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't know what's happening.
In front of everyone? Oh my gosh.
Really strange. Yeah.
Whoa.
Weird.
Did you like it?
No. no, I didn't.
You know what's funny is that, like, I don't know that story and we're married. That's so funny. But
Yeah.
it's because whenever I've asked Erik in the past, like, who is the first girl you kissed? He always has the answer he started with, which is, it was you. You're my first kiss. You're my only girlfriend. You're my only anything. But I am curious about all these other peeps. Do you remember your first swear word? I remember mine. I remember the first time I said a swear word.
I don't.
I remember it so well because I was very religious and conservative growing up. So it was very much taught to me that bad words were, I wasn't allowed to say stupid. Like I wasn't allowed to say anything negative at all.
Yeah.
So like bad words were a big deal in my house.
Yeah.
So I remember I think in 4th or 5th grade. And I remember hiding behind, do you remember the obstacle courses at elementary schools? Do they still have these? They must. That you had to, on the big fields where it's like you climb the rope and you climb over the wall and you spin over the bar and you do the crab walk across. You didn't have these?
Was this like a setup?
California
was this
thing?
set up for like a field day? Did you have field day?
No, it's like PE.
Did you go to high school on a military base?
Oh, wait.
What's
I'm
happening?
so confused. You guys don't have these on the East Coast?
No.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, it kind of is. It's kind of like boot campy type of like jam. Like it's the obstacle course. Wait.
No.
You're blowing my mind.
We had a parking lot and we had we had like multiple sports fields.
You have like a field on the field, like usually on the edge of the field, there's like an obstacle course and there's like a place where you have to climb a rope, which I could never do and it was so embarrassing. Like monkey bars.
We had like ropes in the gym.
No.
Yeah. No.
And there's like a wall you have to climb over and there's like a bar you have to lift yourself up on and spin on and you have to do a crab walk across it. Am I a crazy person? Wait, guys, tell me please.
We would have like a day
listening
of the year called like a field day. Remember you didn't have that field day?
I don't know.
Where it would be like the whole day would be like kind of gym type competitions, races, relay races.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we had field days.
You got to run the mile.
I hate field days.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. Yeah.
No, this was like PE. Like you had to do this in PE. It was like a often like common occurrence.
No.
What? Okay,
no.
She just blew my mind. Anyway, I went onto this obstacle course, but the walls are like 4 feet that you have to climb over. And me and my friends, these 2 girls, we went behind.
Swear word. I was like, I was like, when is this kiss gonna happen? I was like, I forgot.
told you the kiss story.
It's all blend. Yeah.
So we go behind this little 4-foot wall that we usually jump over for.
And that's where you kissed? Yeah.
No, we did not kiss. But I remember we planned we were all gonna say a bad word. And so it was during recess.
You're like, we're going to hide in the woods
ran
and say
over
a bad
the
word.
field, and we went behind this wall, and we crouched down.
Different childhoods.
And I said, you want to know what I said? We all sat there and stared at each other, and I go, bitch. I like
staring into each other's eyes.
I don't remember the words they said. I think it was like damn or something. Like it wasn't even that bad of words. But I just remember, I think we went there because there was graffiti on the back of that 4-foot wall that had bad words on it. So we're like, this is the place.
This is the place where all the cool kids go to say bad words.
Yeah. I remember it so vividly. Like
where
it's the
had you
first
heard
time.
that word before?
I don't know. Probably like TV randomly or something. I don't know.
The Bible.
Not the Bible. What? No, I'm just sure somewhere along the lines of life, I heard it somewhere. But listen, I don't know. I just know that it's time to say thank you to our next sponsor. So that's what I'm going to do. We love this next sponsor. They're good old friends of ours because we talk about them all the time and we use them all the time. We've been using them for forever. It is, of course, the Calm app. Mm-hmm. You guys, I have some bad news. Bad news up here. And that is that the world is full of uncertainty. And that might leave you feeling stressed or anxious. But I also have good news, love. Do you want some good news?
Yes, please.
The good news is you can navigate change, feel more relaxed, and quiet your mind with Calm. So that's the good news. Okay? So the bad news doesn't even really exist because it's fixed with the good news. We're partnering with Calm, the #1 mental wellness app, to give you the tools that improve the way you feel. Clear your head with guided daily meditations, improve your focus with Calm's curated music tracks, and drift off to dreamland with Calm's imaginative sleep stories. And if you go to calm.com/RCE, you'll get a limited time offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription, which includes hundreds of hours of programming, and new content is added every week. Guys, that's a bigger deal than I got because I started using Calm before we worked with them.
I'm still paying full price.
Pay full price. And you guys are getting a deal. It is worth it. It's really wonderful. I've said it before, I'll say it again. We use Calm all the time. I used it just the other night when I was having a stressful night, panicking about so many things. And I just put on a guided meditation and closed my eyes and let my mind try to relax.
I did that in my lunch break at work in my trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, so we use it all the time. It really does help. It's super nice. Even on the nights where I can't fall asleep no matter what I do, it just helps to get my mind off of all the things I'm stressed about and helps me to calm down a little bit. So it's an appropriate name for the app because it does help you to stay calm. So sleep more, stress less, live better with Calm. For listeners of the show, Calm is offering a special limited time promotion of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/RCE. Go to calmdotcom/RCE for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. That's calm.com/RCE. Oh, we love them so much. I have more first, love. There's more for us here.
Seriously?
There's more. Okay. Who is the first person you text when something exciting happens?
You.
Is it? Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
You're not because I'm always with you. So I just talk to you.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
But the first person I text when something exciting happens is usually Jessica Ballinger, my sister-in-law. Because I'm with you, but she's like the best hype man. Like anytime anything exciting happens, I like want to tell Jessica because she's like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Like she's like amazing at that. Like I feel like my whole life
sounds like
since
her.
I've known her since I was like 12 or whatever, she's such like a hype man. Like for anything exciting, she's just like, yes, let's do it. This is the best day ever. Like that's just so Jessica. She's a good hype man. So anything exciting, I always tell you, but then I love to tell Jessica because she gets equally as excited as I do.
Imagine texting Flynn. What do you think your first
He's going to text with so many emojis.
To Flynn is going to be?
Love you.
Yeah.
It'll be love you for sure because I'm that mom. I'll be like, did you get my text? So he's going, Mom, you're so annoying. He won't though. I feel like he's such a sweetheart. He won't.
What kind of phone do you think will be his first phone? Do you think it'll be like
it doesn't exist yet.
Chip in his brain?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't even want to think about that. That's terrifying.
No, like what do you think phones will be like when will Flynn get a phone?
Well, I think phones are going to go back to like flip phones and type things because people will be like
not being smartphones. Like
they're going to be like, I'm going off the grid. I know, but I think those are going to become really popular.
Yeah, maybe I need that.
Yeah, I feel like you would love that.
Can you get the Calm app on one of those though?
Oh, I don't know about that, Lovey. What was your first favorite album? Not your first album because like, I don't know if that's going to be your favorite, but what was your first favorite album you can remember?
The first CD my father bought me, I think was Sheryl Crow.
Oh my gosh, Here
like
Comes the Sun.
What?
Didn't she sing?
That's
Soak Up the Sun. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I don't think it was that one.
That was my first concert.
Was it really?
Yeah, Sheryl Crow's my first concert.
Yeah, I think
and that was your first CD. Oh my God, we're meant to be.
Yeah, I think that was like the first CD.
That's so funny.
My first concert was Weird Al Yankovic.
I didn't know that, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great first concert.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, he's the best, and I loved it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
My first album that I loved, I know I had some CDs, but I loved Jewel. These hands are small, I know, but they're not yours.
We don't have the rights to this. You can't sing it. I think mine was the Beatles. I think like my first favorite album was the Beatles.
Oh, that's a good one.
So I taught myself guitar. Was just like playing, learning Beatles songs. Yeah.
I love Jewel, but I think my first favorite album was Thoroughly Modern Millie. I listened to that on repeat, the musical. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of Broadway shows. I listened to Rent a lot on repeat, but I think I had the cassette tape of Rent. I don't know that I had the CD of Rent. Not that that means anything, but like I had to listen to Rent in private because it was like against the rules in our house.
Oh, really?
So I would like read along with a pamphlet or with like the little foldy out thing that the cassette came with or the CD came with. And I would read along the lyrics when I first listened to a CD. I never just listened. I'd always have to read the lyrics along with it.
I remember loving, we had like Little Shop of Horrors on
Oh, that's great.
VHS, and I would watch it.
Oh,
and I would
that's
listen
such a good
to Jesus Christ Superstar. I loved that singer, as far as musicals go.
Well, Erik grew up in a very musical household. His dad is a very talented musician.
Yes.
So he got exposed to a lot of awesome music very early on. Your first, this one is interesting to me. And it sounds weird, but just trust me. Your first puberty experience, like your first time your voice cracked, or just anything that has to do with puberty. That was like your first, like your first armpit hair.
I think I was just gonna say. I feel like, have we talked about this?
Maybe.
I remember when my first friend I went over for to hang out because he had an above ground pool, which was like very fancy, attached to his deck. And I remember we just went over to go swimming, and then he like threw me like a ball or whatever, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God, he's got armpit hair. Look at this guy.
Oh my gosh, were you jealous?
Yeah, so jealous. Yeah, desperately.
How old are you?
I remember. I don't know, like
12, 13,
somewhere in there. Yeah. And he already like full head of hair in his armpits.
Really?
I had nothing, bald. And then I remember like I think in my armpit like getting like just one singular like one hair all on its own, but like super long, and I was like, yeah, so excited.
You were so excited.
Yeah.
Like show it off to everyone.
And comb it.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What is
remember.
this question?
I think it's interesting because like I remember
I think
when
it was that.
I remember getting the chesticles and it hurting. I remember it hurting, and I remember it like they get sore.
Yeah, you had
It's
that.
not
You had a
fun.
bit in your live show about a journal entry where you drew a cartoon
That's
of boobs
true.
popping out, and
I was
you
like,
wrote,
my boobs are
"Ow."
popping out and they're killing me. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does hurt, which like is so interesting. And I will admit, it's very similar to like the pain I felt when I was pregnant with Flynn and my boobs got sore. Like that's the type of pain it was. It was like a very sore, tender feeling. But that wasn't what I was going to say. But I do remember that just being very painful, and like I hated shopping for a bra. It was so awkward. It wasn't exciting to me. And getting my period was awful, not
strange
fun.
and like obvious. Like
It's isn't it interesting?
bizarre.
And I'm not trying to go down any kind of political road because I know people hate when we bring up anything political, but like it is very interesting to me that the stuff girls go through with puberty, you're taught to be ashamed of, and like, oh, it's so embarrassing I have to get a bra. Oh, it's so embarrassing I got my period. Oh, it's so embarrassing I have to learn how to shave my legs and my armpits. And guys are like taught to be proud. Like, oh, I got an armpit hair. That's so cool. Like guys are taught it's cool when you go through those puberty things. And for girls, it's like so embarrassing and like, oh, don't talk about it. No one's allowed to know. And you're like, look at my singular hair on my pit.
We thought it was pretty cool when y'all started getting boobs.
Okay.
we're like, cool. Like we thought that was pretty cool. What do you mean?
But they're not for you, first of all.
I don't care. Relax.
But I'm just saying. It's interesting that society teaches girls to be ashamed and embarrassed, and you need to look young and stay young. And guys is like, yeah, you're a man now. And girls, it's like,
Boners.
stupid.
No, I don't.
That's
Okay.
true.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
disagreeing?
I would never.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting to think about. But the story, I didn't even tell my story yet. My first experience with pubertatia was my legs started getting hairy, like a dark hair.
How old are you?
And 12,
Uh-huh.
11. I got my period when I was 14, but like my legs started getting hair on them when I was like 12 or something. And so I remember I stole my mom's razor because I didn't want to tell her I was embarrassed. And I shaved my legs, and I was like, she'll never know. But I remember we were leaving my favorite Chinese restaurant, and I remember exactly where I was. We're walking through the parking lot. I was wearing shorts, and my mom goes, Colleen May Ballinger, did you shave your legs? And she said it like all loud in the parking lot. I was so embarrassed. And I was like, yeah, so. I was so embarrassed because I had to steal her razor to do it. She's like, why did you tell me I'd help you? And I was like, I didn't want to.
Did you do it like dry, like by the graffiti wall or something?
I did it in the shower dry. I've always shaved my legs dry.
Yeah.
Not
It's pretty aggressive.
Every once in a while, I'll use some fancy things, but not usually. Usually, I'm like, I don't got time. Erik says I'm like Edward Scissorhands in the shower.
It's like Sweeney Todd in there.
Okay, we're almost done. First, this might be a weird one. I don't know that you'll have an answer to this. First religious experience? Like, have you had like anything where you like I'll give you mine. Like I was raised in a religious home, a Christian home. And I was taught in Sunday school that in order to go to heaven, which was the good place, and not the burning horror place, you had to accept Jesus into your heart. You had to ask Jesus to live in your heart. And I was 3. And I feel like that's a very heavy concept for a 3-year-old to understand. Like, when you die, you're either going to go burn forever, or you can just ask Jesus to live in your heart, and you can live in a golden, beautiful, shiny, perfect place where people are singing forever. Like, obviously, as a 3-year-old, I was like, well, I'm going to that place, so I'll just ask this Jesus person to come in my heart. And it's one of my first memories. 3 is very young. Like, think about Flynn's age. Like, Flynn is 2.5. Like, this is I would not explain this to Flynn. I would not be like, do you want to burn forever? Anyway.
It's all going swimmingly, and then you're like, all right, we're going to end on pubes and religion. Tell me your pube story, and then I'm going to talk about religion.
That's the name of this episode, pubes and religion.
Like,
no, okay, let me just finish. Okay.
All right.
So anyway, I'm not getting into that, but I do remember I had a tiny pink rocking chair that was like, maybe 1.5 feet tall. It was a very small little chair in my room. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ask this Jesus guy to come live in my heart. He lives in heaven right now, which is up pretty high. So I got on top of my little tiny chair, my little pink chair, because I was like, I'm higher now. So now I'm closer to him. And I put my hands together. I remember this vividly. Put my hands together and I said, Dear Jesus, please live in my heart. Thank you. Amen. And I ran out to my parents and I was like, Mom, I asked Jesus to live in my heart. And I remember her being so excited. And my dad was so excited. Everyone was so happy for me, so excited for me, so proud of me. And I remember really believing that a tiny man was living inside of my chest in my heart. I really believed that there was
very literally. Yes.
Well, I was 3. So I was like,
very young. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this little dude, he's living in my heart. And now I can talk to him anytime because he lives there. He's like right there. And I really believed that for a very long time. This tiny man was living inside of my heart.
Wow.
That was my first religious experience that I can remember.
That's okay.
Do you have one that you're thinking of?
Yeah, I think Entenmann's raspberry cheese danishes was something that they would always have in the church, basement or back room. What would they call that room?
I don't know. It's like, I know what you're talking about.
Like coffee cake.
Yeah.
Coffee cake. The Entenmann's cheese Danish. That was what was my favorite part. We would go to church.
What kind of church? Do you know what denomination?
They were Congregational Presbyterian. I don't. Yeah, it was. Yeah. We kind of went to different ones. My parents just wanted us to experience it, go and we moved a lot. So that when I was younger, so it'd be different kind of churches. But I just remember we got to get up on Sundays.
I know.
Go to this place and then sit there. And everybody's singing. How do they all know the words to all these songs? And then 10 minutes in, they'd be like, "All right, all the kids get out," and you would go to Sunday school while the adults did the rest of the church service, and you'd go and you'd have color or whatever, and then you got snacks. So I was mostly into the snacks element.
Yeah.
Until I was of age to be on Sunday, come on,
guys.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this.
What are we doing here?
So your first religious experience was Danishes.
Yeah, we didn't get those kind of Danishes at home. They were the fancy ones.
Yeah,
and
it's
as much as you could. Yeah, those little mini powdered donuts.
Those were everything after a long Sunday morning service and you're starving because you woke up too late so you didn't eat anything and you wait a couple hours and you get one of those powdered little donuts. Yeah. Oh man, I need some of those in this house right now. We need to order some powdered donuts.
Some good snacks there.
Powdered donuts are really good. So your first religious experience was Danishes and Coke, and Coke.
You've mixed up some of my stories here.
I'm really tired, guys. It's almost midnight. We're very sleepy over here.
Are there still more?
There is, but I guess we're done. Fine. Never mind. I had a good one.
All right, let's do
this is the final one.
One more.
This is the finale.
We can't end on
the finale
Danish.
is your first Instagram post. Now I have mine and I have yours.
Oh, I know what mine is and I don't like it.
I have yours.
Yeah.
I have it.
I don't like mine.
I scrolled and I found it.
You have to scroll far.
My first Instagram post is Ariana Grande giving my cousin Cammie a henna tattoo on her wrist because I was at Ari's house and she was like, oh my gosh, you have to start an Instagram. Do you know what Instagram is? I'd never heard of it. And she started, like, she helped me make my Instagram. She's like, it's a place where you post pictures. And I was like, okay. So she made it for me and I was like, what about this picture? And she's like, yeah, sure. So I did it. And apparently her screen name used to be Ari Grande because that's what I tagged. But I don't know. Anyway,
where was that from?
This was so long ago. Holy smokes. 2012. So 10 years ago. My first post was 10 years ago, and it's of Ariana Grande with pink hair because she was on that Nickelodeon show at the time.
So what are you doing this for? Just to like embarrass me?
No, I'm doing this because I was like, our first, like, it was all our first. And one of the questions was like your first post on your social medias. And I was like, I wonder what our Instagram ones
That
were.
wasn't my first post on Instagram. I remember like I had an Instagram because everyone was
We
like,
haven't even said anything yet. You can't say that
I'm already
wasn't
making
when we haven't even
excuses
talked
about
about it.
I had an Instagram and everyone was like, oh, you need an Instagram. And I had it for like a couple weeks and I was like, this is stupid. And I deleted it. And then I just had to start another one because then everyone was like, no, really, we're all doing this thing now.
Well, I never knew what his first Instagram post was. I'd never scrolled all the way back, and I did today.
Yes, you had.
I really hadn't. I'd never seen this before.
Oh.
So it's a picture of not his face, but the rest of his body in front of what looks to be like a hot dog truck.
Yeah, it was a hot dog food truck.
Called like the Wiener or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And the post says, eyes up here.
Yeah, that was funny.
And it's basically a picture of like his crotchal area next to something that says the Wiener.
That was meant to be funny.
It's funny. It's very funny. I like it. That was his first.
Sorry, it's not Ariana Grande giving me a tattoo.
Oh, come on. It's better than that. And it wasn't me. I wasn't getting one. It was my cousin getting one. Who just had a baby and is so cute. The little baby is so cute. Anyway, thanks for listening to this episode full of firsts. I had fun today. I don't know if you guys are disappointed. It wasn't an episode of The In-Laws. That's coming soon. But this was really fun for me. Even though I smell like a wet sack of crabs and I have so much spit in my mouth.
Whole room does now.
Come on, is it really that bad?
But no, I actually really liked it. It was fun to like search my memory banks for all those things.
Well, that's one thing I love about this podcast is that like we obviously know each other very well. I know you better than anybody. And I feel like you say the same about me, which is true. But this podcast,
I learned some things.
Yeah, I feel like we get to learn things about each other, even though like we're at a point in our relationship where it's like I know everything about this guy. We know everything about each other, and it's cool to like have these nights where it's like, oh my god, I never knew that. Yeah, like that's so cool. Whereas we wouldn't have had these conversations otherwise. We'd be watching Naked and Afraid and like eating cookies.
Can we go watch Naked and Afraid?
We're definitely about to go watch Naked and Afraid. And I'm definitely making cookies. And I have a new Lego set we can do. So we got our night planned. And it's already midnight.
It's Friday night.
Friday night. But thank you so much for listening, for watching. We're so grateful to all of you, the viewers, the listeners, for letting us do this. This is a really fun thing for us. And everyone who's supported us through our 16th episode.
Whoa.
You guys are amazing.
We can drive.
Oh my gosh, we can drive.
What would this podcast first car be?
Oh, it's perfect because we're talking about our first cars.
Yeah.
It'd be a K car.
What is a K car?
I know.
Is it a golf cart?
No, it's not. Should we get a golf cart?
You're gonna have to Google this and figure out.
I have to find it. I have to show you. Thank you to Tony. Thank you to TJ. Thank you to Chris. Thank you to Erik Stucklin. And thank you to all our amazing sponsors.
Hey.
What?
Thank you, Colleen.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to the beautiful vocal stylings of this incredible fan who did this amazing cover of our song. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Lorelai Marr, and I am 12 years old. I love your podcast, so I wrote my own version of the podcast theme song. And here it is. We can relax while listening to Erik Leem's podcast. The world is crazy, and your podcast is too, and that's why we listen to you. So we can relax. That's the name of their podcast.
You can relax. Colleen and Erik have a podcast. The world is scary and we're locked in our home, but now we have big microphones, so you can relax. That's the name of our podcast.